Hey YouTube, it's SoulPrime13 coming at you with another Transformers video review, and today we are going to be doing a review of the much looked forward to Style Gen MPG Optimus Prime. I think it's MPG 17, I want to say. Yeah, MPG 17. So, yeah, after getting, well, it was a KO of the MP44, I had kind of been low-key waiting for the next Masterpiece Prime because I did not enjoy MP44. The transformation just was not enjoyable to me, and I'm somebody who enjoys like long-winded, complex transformations, but it just felt like a nightmare to me. I've transformed it like once and never touched it again. So I was actually quite looking forward to this figure, and I can say that I have enjoyed it, but we will get into all of that after a quick look at the packaging. So here we have a render of the figure there. You can see he has his Energon axe, and he's actually holding the Siege trailer hitch transforming axe as well. As the Style Gen Optimus, he takes inspiration from multiple different versions of Optimus. So on this side we got a, hold on, we actually got a wrap around that picture there. Hold on, let me get that whole thing on the shot there. And then we do have his vehicle mode. On this side we do got him in, in robot mode. On the top we just got our words and stuff. On the bottom we got Japanese legal jargon, and on the back we do have some product shots. And he is compatible with a trailer. I think it's it says right here it's the MP44 trailer. I do not have one of those, so the knockoff I got was just the cab. I did not need another box, especially one that made the figure go into $500 range. But we also get our lovely instruction booklet here, and it is nice and thorough, which I always appreciate. So there is that. And where did I put it? There it is. We do also get a collector's card here. Mine was a little bit warped out of the box, but I put a book over it, and it's nice and flat now. Then we have the robot mode, and here we have the vehicle mode. So there's that. Well, let's take a quick look here at the figure, and I gotta say, there is a lot to like here. He has a nice chrome bumper and grill. He does have some little clear plastic inserts there for the headlights. Got the painted lights up top. Some nice hits of silver, including that traditional line there, and then the rear view mirrors. The smokestacks are chromed, and I like this, that they actually put the sort of rear guard piece behind the truck cab, like there would be on an actual truck. You get some sort of a gunmetal for the wheels there. And he does have the feet, leg sections that are just kind of hanging out there, but that's not terribly surprising. And you can see his hips and thighs there, but it's not perfect, but it's still overall a very good figure. And he does roll quite smoothly, so that's always a plus. And we do get a number of accessories, and we are actually going to talk about them in this mode, because we get this little doohickey that is for storage. And the way it works is, so you can see there are 3 points here, and if we take this little post here, we can take the Energon axe and plug it on here. And then this, I believe it's this one here, is for the gun handle, like so. And then this square tab here is for this bit, which is actually the stand adapter, and you just plug that on there. And you can come back here to the truck, and there are 2 post holes here, And you want to take this post right here on the bottom, and you plug that on like so. Get back on there. Plug that on like so. And then as for the swords, you do want to be careful and make sure you put them together a certain way. If I remember correctly, you want to have the so you can see there are portholes on one side but not the other. You want the portholes facing outwards, so you want to yeah, like that, and you're going to stack them together like this. So it should portholes on the outsides, and you can see they have little divots there to make sure that they plug together. And then you're going to take the hitch axe here, and there's a little post here, and you just plug that on like so. My lighting is not quite getting over here. Let me move the light over a little bit, see if that helps. And now, I think I did this backwards. Hold on. Let me flip this around like so. There we go. So that it's facing like this. And you're going to take this post and put it in the other hole. And it all stacks together. I don't think that's actually all the way in. There we go. And now he has everything stored in vehicle mode. Now, I am going to go ahead and bring this up. Because, again, he is compatible with the MP44 trailer, which I do not have one of. But if you look, what's it here? Yeah, there is a way to put them into the MP44 trailer. But again, I do not have the MP44 trailer, so I can't really show that off. But I did want to mention that is a thing that you can do. So just wanted to briefly discuss that. Anywho, moving on. Let's do a couple of vehicle mode comparisons. Hold on, where did I put it? There it is. So here he is with the MP10 mold. This is the official shattered glass one. So that'll give you an idea of how he stacks up with the previously big hitter for Optimus Prime Masterpiece. And I thought I had a G1 Optimus Prime transformed over here, but apparently I do not. But I do have something. Do have the recent missing link Ultra Magnus, just to give you an idea of how he stacks up. And this actually hooked up properly. Just so you have an idea of how he stacks up with G1 Prime or a G1 Prime adjacent mold. So anywho, I think that's at least okay enough for comparisons right now, so we'll go ahead and get him transformed now. So we are just going to take all this stuff off and set it to the side. And the first thing we are going to do is we are going to come down here to his hips and open these panels and fold in, it's not all the way down, fold in the gas tank and close that up. Rinse and repeat. And we're going to take these little bits here and rotate them up like so. Up like so. Then we can come here and just sort of pull back on these and fold them down. And those are going to be where his shins are. And you can just kind of, well, actually we'll wait on that. But then we're going to come here to this panel here, untab it and fold it up. You can see that's going to be his shoulder. Do the same on the other side. Then this panel here, which was hooked in, is going to come down and fold around, and it's on a double hinge here, and you're just going to fold it around. You can see there, that same little tab that was tabbed up here is now going to hook into this little spot here. So do that, and do that. There we go. Then we're going to come up here, and you're just going to sort of push down on the mirror and get this panel open. Just give that mirror a little push. That's usually the best way. And then we are going to open up the window panels here. You can see his head is just hiding in there. And do be careful, is these tabs that hold the grill to these side pieces is actually very secure, so you might need to wiggle it around a little bit first just to get it untabbed. There we go. And then these, you're going to untab it here from the front, like so. There's just a little tab right here you can see. And then we're going to bring this down, and these chrome bits here are actually going to rotate up like so, and like so. Just bring them down to the side. Now we should be good to get his arms out, and we do want to make sure to untab this part right here like so. And we can just get those arms out and just get them out of the way. Then we are going to come here, and you just kind of want to grip the faux grill here and lift it up. It does tab on right here. And now we can bring this, actually I think we need to wiggle these up. Then we can bring this up and rotate the legs 180. And similar to most Optimus Primes, this where his tires are is going to flip around and form his sides. And we're just going to fold those around. And before we plug everything in, we do want to come back here and just pull on this section, and that's going to bring his head out. We're going to fold this panel here up and down, and that'll get his head out. And then we're just going to close this back up again, and you can see there are little divots right here that are going to go into these little corners here, just like that. Now we can finish bringing the wheel parts up like so, and these are going to come up around the back, and going to slide in like that. And there, you'll feel that they do tab in there. Now, as for this, we do want to fold the faux grill, or the truck grill rather, over the back like so, and we're going to bring this whole armature up, and we're just going to secure this by pushing it into his chest like so. And now this can come down, and it doesn't really tab, but it does sit securely over all these bits here. You can see there's some grooves cut out right there for how it sits. And now we can take this, fold it back, and then fold it up, and you'll see there's a little slot cut right here that is going to slide over this little tab like so. Now I'll secure that. Then we can just close his window pecs up again, and now we just want to get his arms pushed back and situated. And now we're going to work on the legs, because I want to talk about the arms last. This is his little trailer hitch. We're going to rotate that up and around and pull up, and it will untab from this side. You just untab his legs from each other, fold this piece inwards like that, and now we can bring this whole section with the shins down, and you can see it's on armature, and you can see there's a little slot here, and there's a little tiny tab here, and it does hold very securely. So when you're transforming him back, you do want to make sure that you lift this up a little bit to get it off of that tab, because it's actually a very secure connection. So we just tab that on there, and then we just unfold his toes and his heel, and and we want to bring this down, and again make sure it goes over that little tab there, like so. And there we have his legs all done. Now, as for his arms, So first things first, we do want to see that there is this section here that will open up, and you can fold out his hand and then close that back up. And then you want to fold this panel all the way over the other way, and that will create his forearm. And so the reason I want to talk about his arms, and we're going to go ahead and do this on his other side. Go ahead and open this up, close that, and fold this up. So in truck mode, this side, you can see there's a cutout here for this joint right here for him to be able to move his arm into position for the truck mode. Now the instructions say to fold that flat and rotate it around so that that section is now at the back, and then rotate his arm around like so. And he does still have quite a good elbow bend here, but if you really want, what I do is I just leave that part still forward, and it gives him a double jointed elbow. So you can leave that part forward and just get more range out of his arm. I mean, if you want it to look a little cleaner, that cutout's not on this side, so it does have a little bit of a cleaner presentation. But I like the double jointed elbow better, so I leave that part forward. But that's the part I wanted to talk about. But anyway, now we're all done. Here he is in his robot mode, and he does look very nice. He does have some light piping. I don't know how well it comes across here since my lights are behind me instead of above me. But his light piping is alright. But he does have a nice silver paint there for his faceplate and his crest. The antennae are actually molded in place this time, which I actually do prefer that. They don't flop around at all. Again, the windows are the same as they were in the truck mode. They're just, I think they are actually translucent. Yeah, they're a very smoky, transparent plastic. So, and if we open this up, we do get, I'm trying to remember, I think it opens from the top side. Yeah, we do get his matrix, and you can take it out. If I can, might need to use a tool here. Ooh. Someone tried to go cliff diving. There we go. And it is die cast, as you probably just heard. It does have a translucent plastic gem in there, but it is a very nice matrix indeed. So you do have that option. Go ahead and stick that back in there and close that up. And we do get some translucent yellow here for his crotch details. Does have some ratchets there in the leg area. He does have some movement here at the kneecaps if you want to pose those a certain way. Overall, very neat. I think we'll just go ahead and take care of the articulation section here. So his head is actually on a very nice ball joint here, and there is actually a hinge to the platform it's on, so you do get a little extra movement out of that. The arms can come forward on this butterfly joint. They can fold backwards a little bit. We do get a full 360 ratchet in the shoulder. Arm can come out that far, also on a ratchet. Again, he does have a bicep swivel, and depending on how you orient it, he can have a single or double jointed elbow with lots of movement. He does have a wrist swivel, and he does have some hand articulation. He does have the trigger finger 3-finger split, with both having 2 hinges. Actually, I think, no, yeah, it's 1, 2. Yeah, you can see the sections, how they move there. So there is that. We do get a full 360 at the waist. The hip skirts on the side, at least, can come up. And they worked around that by having the lower the sort of the L-shape hip piece here, which is also on a nice ratchet. We do get over 90 degrees at the knee, and we actually get a couple clicks forward there too. Do get a hip swivel, and we can kick out quite far there as well. Fold that back down, and then the feet are actually on a couple different joints. They do have a double joint armature here, and they have a swivel here, and then they also have this ankle section here. So you do get quite a bit of movement there in the ankle, and then of course you also have some up and down at the toes and the feet due to transformation. So quite a bit of posability in those legs, which is nice. And I think that's everything for the that came on tab. For the robot mode articulation. Oh yeah, and then the knees, like I mentioned earlier. So there's that. We'll do a couple more comparisons here. So here he is with the Studio Series mold. So let me adjust that. So you can see how he stacks up with the mainline figure. Here he is next to Studio Series Megatron. So there's that. Here we have him next to MP44. So you can see how they look next to each other. And yeah, I'll admit this guy has a nice tune accurate look, but this guy is much more fun to play with. But I don't play with this guy. And of course, we do need to bring in my MP10, which I always knew was a KO, but it had been forever since I tried to transform him, and it turns out his arm is actually, you can see his arm on this side is actually misassembled, so I couldn't transform him for the vehicle mode comparison, which is why I used my shattered glass one. But there he is next to MP10, and I honestly think this guy's going to be the new MP10. I've already pre-ordered, they already got the knockoffs coming out, and I've already pre-ordered the various repaints, so I'm definitely enjoying this guy. But there is one more comparison I want to do next to the original Generation 1 mold. And part of the reason I want to bring this out and talk about it is because a lot of people have complained about these sections here on the back of the arm that stick out. Now the KO that has come out does have a joint here, and a lot of people think that this doesn't look very good. Although I agree, I don't like that. I do understand why they did it, because again, this is supposed to, you know, take inspiration from multiple different Optimus Primes, and this one is copying the original G1 figure with his arm flaps. So that's why he has this piece sticking out. So just for anyone wondering. But we still have a few things to talk about because we have to go through all of his accessories again. So first we're going to start with the Bayverse style swords here, and I'm really glad they included these. So you can see they have a hinge here, and it goes both ways, but essentially it is to give him the arm blades. And the way these work is you come here and it plugs in from the bottom, because if you look at his hand, there is a like half circle in his palm, and it extends all the way down, and you just plug this into that half circle portion like so, and now he has the arm blade look. And obviously you can do it with both sides. You have two. So there is that, and I do dig that. I do like that. I really like the arm swords just in general. And if for some reason you don't want to put it in his hands, you can, you know, like plug it on here, because he has 5mm ports in various places, so you can plug it on here and have it like that. Again, you can give him his blaster if you want to. Just plug that into his hand. And it is blast effect compatible, so you can get some Daka Daka action going on there. Always happy to see that. So, and now he does have his 2 axes, the one from G1 that replaces his hand. And to do that one, we're just going to take these swords off now and get these out of the way. What you're going to do is similar to previous incarnations. You are just going to fold up his hand again. You want to open up his section, flip his hand around, and you can see there is a little peg here, and you want to make sure you put it out so it's sitting straight, and then you just plug this on, and now you have his Energon Axe hand. And there is a rotation here. I think it actually just pops off. So you can pose that around a little bit if you want. And for this one, based off the Siege version, you do just fold down the handle, and you can see there's a little clip right here that will snap in. Then this folds down, and it does tab together here. And then you just bring this piece out and around, and then you bring this part out. And again, he does have that half circle molded into his hands, and you just stick that in there. Yeah, do it a little higher where that tab point isn't sitting there. There we go. And now he has his 2 Energon axes. And then we have this part. This actually does still have a thing to do in the robot mode. So, yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how it works. I believe it goes this way, and you take the blaster handle and plug it in like so, and then you can rotate the barrel. And I might be doing this wrong. Actually, I think I am. I think you do it in this one. I don't remember exactly, but you can essentially come back here. Yeah, it was that one. And you can see there's a tab or a post here that will plug in here to his backpack like so. And you can have a shoulder mounted blaster. I think I'm still putting that in the wrong place. I can never remember exactly which one is the right one for this mode, but I mean, there are a couple ways you can do it. But yeah, essentially you can give him a shoulder mounted blaster if you want. And then finally, oh, actually before that, and we can store these again if you just plug them together and stick them on the other side back here. And then the final thing we got to talk about is the stand adapter. So if we bring in the usual Masterpiece stand, get this set up, just stick that in there, and stick this on here, and it just plugs on to his booty here. You can see there is a little post right here, and that goes into this little screw hole right here. So again, it just plugs on right to his booty. Goes right in the booty hole. And then you can just stick this on here, like so. Now you can get him in some, awesome action poses if you want to do that. So there's all that. And is there anything else we need to discuss as far as features go? I don't think so. I think that's everything, more or less. But yeah, overall, I really do dig this figure. He's well made. Again, he is actually very fun to play with and transform and whatnot, which was really the deal breaker for me on MP44, because I buy my toys to play with them, not to look at them. So really happy that this guy comes with a lot of accessories, a lot of little features, and a fun transformation. Really do enjoy this guy. And again, they've already launched a KO version of this with some small improvements, because I actually already got it in the mail, but we'll wait to review that. But overall, yeah, this figure, I absolutely recommend it. I really do think it's going to be the next MP10. It's going to get repainted 1,000 times over. And I think he deserves it. It's really well made. And again, I like that it includes different things from different primes. I like the siege axe. I like the movie swords. I like that the blaster can be, you know, in his hand or on his shoulder. They included the original axe. Obviously, he has his matrix. And yeah, I really just think it's a good design. The only thing I can really possibly nitpick is that, again, a lot of people, myself included, don't really love this shoulder panel here. But again, the KO has already fixed that. And then there's the fact that, you know, as usual, his legs don't really do a lot in the alt mode. They're just kind of hanging out there. But that's a thing that happens with Optimus Primes. I don't think anyone's really surprised by that. And a lot of the time, you know, they don't really do too much with that. So I do think that if they really wanted to, I think they could have found a way to make the feet like turn around and fold in like they did with a couple of those like third-party Bumblebee primes. But other than that, you know, that's more of just a nitpick. That's really the only serious issue I could bring against this guy. The joints are tight, the paint is nice. Again, he's fun to play with. I don't really have any major complaints, and yeah, I look forward to getting all the repaints that they're going to do, because again, the knockoff one has already been sent out, and they've already put pre-orders for the White Ultra Magnus, the Nemesis, the Shattered Glass. They've even, you know, listed a cartoon version. I've pre-ordered all of them. So I love this figure. If you get the official or the knockoff, either way, you're getting a good deal. It's a good toy. I 100% recommend it. But I think that's really all I have to say about this figure at this point. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.